Act being approved by a Senate committee. Let's bring in American Bankers Association Senior Vice President of Innovation and Strategy, Brooke Ybarra. Brooke, it's great to speak with you. And of course, I know that you were listening to our conversation with Alex Thornton just before you. From where you sit, what did the banking industry get out of the Clarity Act bill that is now headed for a full Senate vote?
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me. A couple of things. One, the banking industry has a really great opportunity with the Clarity Act in terms of engaging in digital assets. And, I spend actually a lot of my time talking with a number of banks about the opportunities there to engage. But I know, of course, the issue that we've been very focused on is that around interest and yield. And I think it's important to recognize how far that section has come since the markup, that ultimately was canceled back in January. This agreement in principle around prohibiting the payment of interest and yield on payment stablecoin balances while still allowing for certain types of reward or transaction-based, activities-based payments is really important. And that's, that is an improvement in our view since that January text. Now, to be sure, we think there are opportunities to strengthen this bill further, and I think you'll continue to see advocacy from us on that point to kind of seek several technical refinements. But yeah, it's come a long way.
So just to push on that a little more, Brooke, did banks get what they wanted, or is this compromise vague enough that Coinbase could find a way around it just within a few months? Coinbase, for example.
Sure. So unfortunately, I think it is a little too vague at this point. It's kind of ironic, I suppose, the Clarity Act, at least for this particular section. I think there is still too much ambiguity when it comes to how this provision can be interpreted. You have a prohibition with two prongs solely in connection with holding a payment stablecoin. Well, the use of the word solely there is extremely constricting, I think, and it's pretty easy to imagine how one would design a program with, some other de minimis requirement that all of a sudden this payment is no longer solely made in connection with holding a payment stablecoin. And then similarly on this economic or functional equivalence test, there's different people, from different sectors have read this text since it's been released and been in the public domain and drawn very different conclusions about the types of payments that would be allowed or not. And so it's precisely that ambiguity that I think our technical refinements, the specific words, really, it's a handful of words that we are seeking to have changed. It's just to try to make that a little more clear, a little more airtight.
Got it. All right. Well, we'll be watching to see how that results. You've been making the case, Brooke, for tokenized deposits as banks' answers to stablecoin. Same blockchain technology, but with FDIC insurance and no deposit flight risk. But if tokenized deposits are so compelling, it seems still like every bank is launching a stablecoin strategy rather than a tokenized deposit product. Is the banking industry building the thing it says it wants?
So I think it is, and I love the question on tokenized deposits. I think there's a lot of opportunity for the banking industry to pursue tokenized deposits, and perhaps I'll acknowledge, in a hybrid format with payment stable coins, that this concept of tokenized money that includes both tokenized deposits and payment stable coins is really where the market is going to land. There's going to be a place for both instruments, but I think you do see banks and different bank consortia, and the ABA is looking at it, many state bankers associations as well, exploring, how can we support our members? How can we support the industry in pursuing and implementing tokenized deposits, as a strategy? And it really does come down, Scarlett, to, what you said, the blockchain as an infrastructure. What are the advantages that can offer? 24/7 availability, instant settlement, programmable money. The banking industry understands those strengths and is very eager to implement them and to better meet our customers' needs.
Brooke, I'd want to switch gears, just about 30 seconds left here. The Fed recently granted Kraken a limited purpose master account. It's the first crypto firm to get one. You've called it, quote, putting the cart so far ahead that the horse will never catch up. What are you specifically worried about could happen if crypto firms get Fed access before rules are finalized?
Yeah, thanks. I mean, look, access to the payment system is a very important privilege, and it needs to come with the right set of regulations. And insured depository institutions are regulated by prudential federal regulators, subject to we're the most highly regulated industry in the world, basically. And so I think it's important that we ensure a company like Kraken, that's not an insured depository, is still subject to the right safeguards in order to protect the payment system.
All right, Brooke, really appreciate your joining us today. Thank you so much. Brooke Ybarra is American Bankers Association SVP of Innovation and Strategy, joining us from Washington.
Well, coming up.